All right, so get this. We're diving into Hivemapper today.
Hivemapper.
You might be thinking another mapping system.
Right.
Isn't Google Maps enough?
Yeah.
But this one's aiming to shake things up.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking blockchain, a mapping economy, and even a tie-in to the Helium network,
Wow.
which you might already know for those cool hotspots.
Yeah, what's captivating about Hivemapper is that it's not just about building a better map.
Right.
It's about creating a whole new system where everyone involved in mapping, from the drivers collecting the data to the people refining it,
Okay.
actually has a stake in its success.
Okay, so there's this whole financial incentive built in,
Yeah.
and they're calling it a mapping economy.
Right.
Tell me more about that.
Sure.
How does that actually work?
So imagine this.
Okay.
There are three main groups in Hivemapper.
Okay.
Drivers, annotators, and developers.
Okay.
Drivers collect data with special dash cams.
Right.
Annotators make sure it's accurate and useful. And developers create apps using this data.
Okay.
Everyone gets rewarded with a cryptocurrency called Honey.
So you're telling me that as more people use Hivemapper, the honey I hold could become more valuable.
Exactly.
That's a pretty compelling incentive to get involved early on.
Exactly. And because there's only a fixed supply of honey,
Right.
the more people use it, the scarcer it becomes. Plus, they have this burn mechanism,
Okay.
which means a portion of the honey used is permanently destroyed.
Okay.
This, combined with something they call driver staking fees, which removes honey from circulation, is designed to make the remaining tokens potentially more valuable over time.
Wow. A potential $48 billion market.
Yeah,
That's a serious chunk of change.
it is.
I can see why they're going after Google's territory.
Yeah,
But they're not exactly building a Google Maps competitor.
right. They're not focused on creating an app for everyday navigation like Google Maps.
Okay.
They're aiming much bigger.
Oh, wow.
They're building the underlying infrastructure, the data layer that powers the maps.
Okay.
Think of them as the ones forging the steel, not building the car.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Good.
So let's dig deeper into each of these three groups.
Right.
First up, the drivers.
Okay.
They're the ones out there on the roads collecting the raw data.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
What motivates them to contribute?
Well, they earn honey based on several factors.
Okay.
The amount of coverage they provide,
Yeah.
how up-to-date their data is,
Right.
and the overall quality.
Okay.
What's really neat is that they earn more for mapping less traveled roads.
So it's like a treasure hunt,
Right.
where drivers are rewarded for exploring the uncharted territories of the map.
That's a good way to put it.
That keeps things interesting and ensures even remote areas are covered.
Yeah.
But once they've gathered the data, what happens next?
That's where the annotators step in.
Yeah.
They're the ones making sure the data is actually useful.
Okay.
They add street names, points of interest, business locations, all those details that make a map come alive.
What I find fascinating is the whole annotation system.
Right?
It's like a giant collaborative puzzle where everyone contributes to making the map accurate and useful.
Yes.
And the fact that they're incentivized with honey means there's a real motivation to do a good job.
Absolutely. They have a tiered reward system that encourages accurate work
Oh, cool.
and discourages anyone from trying to game the system. It's a clever way to ensure data quality.
So we've got the drivers gathering the raw materials and the annotators refining them.
Right.
What about the developers?
Okay.
What role do they play in this mapping economy?
They're the builders.
Okay.
Imagine a trucking company needing custom routes
Right.
that Google Maps just doesn't offer. That's where Hivemapper's APIs and developers come in.
Okay.
They can use Hivemapper's data to create specialized mapping applications for all sorts of needs.
So instead of relying on a one-size-fits-all solution, businesses can access a whole ecosystem of apps and services built on this decentralized data.
Exactly.
That's a pretty compelling alternative to being locked into whatever Google decides to offer.
And it opens up a world of possibilities for innovation.
Right, so we've got our three pillars, drivers, annotators, and developers, all working together and getting rewarded with honey.
Yeah.
But how does the actual data get transmitted?
Okay.
We're not talking about massive file uploads, are we?
Here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
They're using the Helium network.
The Helium network.
Yeah.
The one with those hotspots that let you earn crypto for providing wireless coverage?
That's the one.
Oh, wow.
Hivemapper drivers can leverage Helium's LoRaWAN technology for data transmission.
Okay.
So it's like using those long-range walkie-talkies.
Right.
But for data,
Yeah.
the drivers can send information back even from remote areas where there's no cell service.
Wow.
That's pretty ingenious.
This is blowing my mind. They're combining blockchain, a new mapping system,
Right.
and a decentralized internet network.
It's pretty amazing.
But hold on, this sounds almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges they're facing?
Well, first off, they're up against a giant,
Okay.
Google.
Right.
To succeed, Hivemapper needs a lot of people to contribute data and developers to create those innovative apps.
Yeah.
It's a classic chicken and egg problem.
Right.
They need both sides to thrive.
Plus, even if the technology works flawlessly,
Yeah.
they need to make sure all three groups, the drivers, the annotators, and the developers, stay motivated and feel like they're getting a fair deal.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Right.
Maintaining that balance is key.
Yeah.
And there's another factor to consider.
Okay.
Imagine a scenario where another decentralized project comes along, offering annotators higher rewards or more interesting tasks.
Right.
Hivemapper needs to ensure they keep their annotators engaged and feeling valued.
So it's not just about building the tech, it's about building a community,
Yeah.
fostering trust, and constantly adapting to a changing landscape.
Building a decentralized mapping system that aims to disrupt a multi-billion-dollar industry is no small feat.
Right.
There are bound to be bumps along the way.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground already, from the drivers on the road to the annotators refining the data and the developers building the apps.
Yeah.
Now I'm really curious to know more about this helium connection.
Let's dive into that next.
Okay.
There's a lot more to unpack there.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Thank you.
Okay, so we left off talking about the helium network.
Right.
It seems like a perfect match for Hivemapper, right?
Exactly.
They both share this vision of a more decentralized future.
And the way they work together is pretty neat.
Yeah, how so?
Hivemapper drivers need a way to transmit all that mapping data they're collecting, even from remote areas where traditional internet access might be spotty.
Right. I can imagine driving through a national park,
Yeah.
capturing stunning scenery for the map, but struggling to even send a text message.
Exactly. And that's where Helium's network of hotspots comes in.
Okay.
Think of it as a community-owned alternative to cellular network.
Oh, interesting.
Each hotspot acts like a mini cell tower,
Right.
using long-range radio waves to transmit data.
So instead of relying on cellular data or Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
drivers can tap into this helium network.
Exactly.
It's like having a secret weapon for connectivity in the most unexpected places.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a win-win for both sides.
Right.
Hivemapper gets reliable and cost-effective data transmission, and Helium gets another real-world application for its growing network.
Okay.
It showcases the potential of these decentralized technologies to work together and create something truly innovative.
It's amazing to see these seemingly separate technologies converging like this.
Yeah.
It really paints a picture of a future where connectivity isn't limited by traditional infrastructure.
Yeah.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. As exciting as this all sounds, we need to talk about the risks, right?
Absolutely.
Building something this ambitious comes with its fair share of challenges.
It does.
As we mentioned earlier, they're facing a formidable competitor in Google. It's like a David versus Goliath situation.
Yeah, it is.
What are some of the key hurdles Hivemapper needs to overcome to make their vision a reality?
Well, a big one is attracting enough users on both sides of the equation.
Okay.
The contributors, drivers, and annotators, and the developers creating apps.
Right.
Without enough drivers, the map data won't be comprehensive or fresh enough.
Makes sense.
And without developers, the whole ecosystem loses its appeal.
It makes sense. It's like building a bustling marketplace.
Yeah.
You need both vendors with interesting goods and eager shoppers for it to thrive.
Right.
What about the annotators?
Okay.
We touched upon the idea that they might be tempted by other projects.
Right. Imagine a new decentralized project pops up,
Okay.
offering higher rewards or more engaging tasks for annotators.
Right.
Hivemapper needs to make sure their annotators feel valued and rewarded for their contributions.
Okay.
They need to keep a pulse on the community and ensure their incentives remain competitive.
So it's this constant balancing act, making sure everyone feels like they're getting a fair shake and the entire ecosystem stays healthy.
Right.
And of course, there's the technical side of things too.
Yeah.
Building a decentralized mapping system at a global scale is no small feat.
Right.
What kind of technical challenges do they face?
Data quality,
Okay.
privacy, security, scalability, these are all critical issues that need to be addressed.
Right.
They need to ensure the data is accurate,
Yeah.
that user information is protected,
Right.
that the system is secure from attacks,
Mm-hmm.
and that it can handle a growing number of users and data points.
Sounds like they're juggling a lot.
They are.
And let's not forget the ever-changing regulatory landscape.
Yeah.
Governments around the world are still figuring out how to deal with cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology.
Right.
Any sudden changes in regulations could throw a wrench in their plans.
Absolutely. It's a dynamic environment.
Yeah.
Which adds another layer of complexity to the whole endeavor.
Right.
They need to be adaptable and able to navigate these evolving regulations.
So they're facing a whole mountain range of challenges.
They are.
How are they addressing these concerns? Are they being transparent about the risks?
That's one thing that's refreshing about Hivemapper.
Okay.
They're very upfront about the challenges they face.
Okay.
They're not over-promising or trying to downplay the risks. It's almost like they're saying, look, this is a bold and ambitious project.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, and there are no guarantees.
Right.
But if you believe in the potential of this technology and want to be part of something truly groundbreaking, then come along for the ride.
I like that it's an honest and open approach.
Yeah.
It's not about blind faith. It's about shared belief in the vision and a willingness to take on the challenges together.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole story so compelling.
Right.
It's a high-risk, high-reward endeavor.
Yeah.
Hivemapper could become just another forgotten project in the vast crypto landscape.
Right.
Or it could genuinely disrupt the mapping industry and change how we interact with maps forever.
Only time will tell which path it takes.
Yeah.
But regardless of the outcome, it's a fascinating example of community-driven innovation.
Right.
And the potential of blockchain technology to shake up even the most established industries.
Now, remember that crucial point we touched upon earlier.
Okay.
Hivemapper's main goal isn't to replace Google Maps with another consumer app. They're aiming for something much more significant.
Right. Let's revisit that point.
Okay.
Could you remind me what Hivemapper's not trying to do?
Sure.
What's their broader vision?
They're not focused on building a typical turn-by-turn navigation app for your phone.
Okay.
Their focus is on the data itself,
Right.
creating the foundation upon which a whole ecosystem of map-based applications can be built. Think of it this way.
Okay.
Google Maps is like a finished product, a sleek car ready to drive. Hivemapper is building the engine,
Right.
the chassis, the nuts and bolts that allow others to build their own vehicles.
So they're providing the raw materials, the building blocks, and leaving it up to the developers to create something amazing with them.
Precisely. Consider all the industries and applications that rely on location data. Logistics, transportation, delivery services, real estate, agriculture, urban planning, environmental monitoring.
Wow.
The list goes on.
Okay.
Hivemapper envisions a world where this data isn't controlled by a few large corporations,
Right.
but is readily available for anyone to use.
So while we might not be using a Hivemapper app for navigation anytime soon,
Right.
it's fascinating to think how this data could power entirely new kinds of map experiences.
Yeah.
Apps tailored for specific needs, maybe with a focus on privacy or community features that traditional maps don't offer.
It's like they're providing the ingredients, and it's up to the developers to cook up some amazing dishes.
You got it. Hivemapper aims to empower developers to create a whole new generation of map-based applications.
Okay.
Applications powered by the community, built on open standards, and driven by a shared vision of a more decentralized and equitable future.
It's a pretty bold vision.
It is.
But with that vision comes a huge responsibility.
Right.
They need to ensure the data they're providing is accurate and reliable.
That's a great point. You're right.
Yeah.
It's one thing to collect data from all over the world,
Yeah.
but it's quite another to make sure that data is actually useful and accurate.
Right.
How does Hivemapper tackle this challenge?
Yeah, break down their approach for me.
Sure.
How do they guarantee the quality of the data?
Okay.
It's crucial for the entire ecosystem to function properly.
That's where their multi-layered approach to quality control comes in.
Okay.
And it all circles back to those three pillars we talked about: drivers, annotators, and developers.
Yeah. They all play a crucial role in ensuring the integrity of the map data.
Okay, so walk me through how this quality control process works in practice.
Okay.
Where does it begin?
It starts with the drivers.
Okay.
Hivemapper doesn't just let anyone with a dash cam start contributing data. They have a vetting process.
Okay.
Ensuring drivers meet certain standards for their equipment and driving habits.
So it's not just about quantity, it's about quality from the get-go.
Right.
They're being selective about who contributes data.
Yeah.
What happens after the data is collected?
That's when the annotators come in.
Okay.
They meticulously examine the data, adding missing details, correcting errors,
Right.
and ensuring everything is accurate and up to date.
It's like having a team of expert editors meticulously reviewing each line of a manuscript.
Yes.
Making sure everything is polished and ready for publication.
Right.
How do they prevent any biases or inaccuracies from creeping in during this process?
To address that, multiple annotators review the same data. It's a system of checks and balances.
Right.
If there are any discrepancies or disagreements,
Yeah.
they're flagged and resolved through a consensus mechanism.
Okay.
It ensures a higher level of accuracy and minimizes the risk of any single person's perspective skewing the data.
So it's a collaborative effort to achieve the highest level of accuracy possible.
Exactly. And let's not forget the role of the honey token in all of this.
Right.
Remember, drivers and annotators own more honey for providing high-quality data and accurate annotations.
So the system is designed to reward good behavior and deter any malicious actors.
Exactly.
It's like a built-in incentive mechanism to maintain the integrity of the entire data set.
Right.
But what about the developers?
Okay.
What's their role in quality control?
By building applications on top of Hivemapper's data, developers essentially become real-world testers.
Oh, interesting.
If there are any inaccuracies or inconsistencies in the data, they're likely to surface as users interact with those applications.
Okay.
It's like having thousands of beta testers constantly probing the data.
Looking for any weak points or areas for improvement.
It's fascinating how they've integrated quality control into every stage of the process.
Yeah.
It seems like each part of the ecosystem plays a vital role in ensuring the reliability of the data.
Exactly. It's like a self-regulating organism.
Oh, wow.
With each part contributing to the health and vitality of the whole.
Right.
And that's one of the most compelling aspects of decentralized systems.
Okay.
They're designed to be resilient, adaptable, and constantly evolving.
So there's no single point of failure.
Right.
The collective intelligence of the community ensures that the most accurate and valuable data rises to the top.
Precisely. It's a powerful concept with far-reaching implications.
This has been an incredible journey so far, uncovering the intricacies of Hivemapper.
Yeah, it has.
From the drivers collecting data to the annotators refining it and the developers building on top of it. We've explored the challenges, the risks, and the immense potential this project holds.
And we've only scratched the surface. Wow, really?
There's so much more to discuss about the future of mapping and how Hivemapper might reshape the way we interact with the world around us.
All right, before we get carried away, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, I want to talk more about the big picture implications of Hivemapper.
Sounds good.
Could this really become the data foundation for a whole new generation of map apps?
It's a good question.
Ones that prioritize user privacy and control, maybe even challenge the dominance of the Googles of the world.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one we'll be exploring in depth when we return.
All right, so we've explored the inner workings of Hivemapper,
Right.
the challenges they face,
Yeah.
and their ambitious vision for a decentralized mapping future.
It is ambitious.
But the big question lingering in my mind is this.
Okay.
Could Hivemapper actually become the data backbone for a whole new generation of map apps?
That's the big question.
Apps that prioritize user privacy and control.
Right.
Maybe even challenge the giants, like Google. It sounds almost too good to be true.
It's a question that sparks the imagination, doesn't it?
It does.
While it's too early to say for sure,
Right.
Hivemapper has certainly planted the seeds for something potentially revolutionary.
Okay.
They've created a framework, a set of tools, and a passionate community that could reshape the entire mapping landscape as we know it.
It's less about predicting the future and more about empowering people to create it.
I like that.
They've laid out the ingredients, and now it's up to the community.
Right.
The drivers, the annotators, the developers, to decide what kind of incredible map-based creations they want to bring to life.
Precisely what makes Hivemapper so captivating is that it's not merely a technological innovation,
Right.
It's a social experiment. They're exploring new models of ownership, governance, and value creation, putting the power back into the hands of individuals and fostering greater transparency and accountability.
Yeah. It's like they're asking, what if we built a map of the world that wasn't controlled by corporations or governments, but by the people who actually use it.
Exactly.
That's a powerful concept, isn't it?
It is, and the implications extend far beyond just mapping.
Oh, really?
Imagine a world where all kinds of data,
Okay.
health records, financial transactions, you name it,
Okay.
are managed in a similar way.
So like everything.
Yeah, it could lead to a more equitable and decentralized internet, where individuals have greater control over their digital lives.
It's a glimpse into a future where the internet truly lives up to its initial promise.
Right.
A decentralized network that empowers individuals and fosters innovation. Hivemapper is one of the pioneers charting this new course.
And that makes it worth watching, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. To everyone listening, keep your eye on Hivemapper.
Yeah.
They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible, challenging us to rethink our relationship with technology and data.
I agree.
They might face hurdles along the way. They might not succeed.
That's true.
But they're asking the right questions and exploring truly groundbreaking ideas.
Who knows, maybe one day you'll be using a map app built on Hivemapper's data,
Right.
completely unaware of the decentralized network, humming away beneath the surface,
Yeah.
connecting people, places, and possibilities.
That's the beauty of it all, isn't it?
Yeah,
The technology becomes invisible,
right.
seamlessly integrated into our lives, empowering us to do things we never thought possible.
I agree. This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of Hivemapper.
It really has.
I hope you found it as insightful and inspiring as I have.
Me too. And hopefully it sparked your curiosity to explore further,
Yeah.
to delve deeper into the world of blockchain technology, decentralization, and the remarkable things happening at the intersection of technology and human ingenuity.
It's a fascinating space.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.